Greetings, citizens of the intertubes. Richo here again. Today's topic is atheist, agnostic, godless, what's in a name, or dictionary wars. Towards the end of my last video, for the 3 people that saw that, thank you very much for watching. You may have noticed some text scrolling along the bottom of the frame saying something along the lines of, "And by atheist I mean that I am godless." Why would I need to say such a thing? Well, there are varying understandings of the meaning of the word atheist, and sometimes quite heated arguments about the one true meaning. So stand by your dictionaries, this could get rough. The first and most important point to make is that a label does not define a person. No one, not even the simplest simpleton, can have all their ideas and thoughts summed up by a single word. If someone says, "I am an atheist," "I am a Christian," "I am a Buddhist," you do not know everything about that person. You've merely found a starting point, and that is all. Words are just tools, and labels can be inappropriate or appropriate. They can be useful or not useful. They can be very misleading, particularly if 2 people are talking and they have very different ideas and very different life experiences, which means pretty much always. But words are all we have, and understanding and communication is possible. It just takes effort and care. So, atheist. What does it mean to say, "I am an atheist"? I can tell you what it means when I say it, and it might not be exactly what it means when you say it, and it might not be what's in your preferred dictionary. What it means to me is very close to what the dictionaries will show as the root meaning. That is, that it comes from the original atheos, without God, godless. This is not the full dictionary meaning, but I like it better than the full dictionary meaning. I find it's a better fit. I find that the full dictionary definition is too narrow, incomplete, and sometimes actually incoherent. Here is an example. Well, I do disbelieve in the existence of a supreme being, but I also disbelieve in the existence of Thor, Zeus, and Heracles, and these are not conceived of as being supreme. So this definition does not cover the full breadth and depth of my disbelief. This is inadequate to describe my relationship to divinity. It's incomplete. I would think that most people, theist and atheist, would appreciate that it makes little sense to limit the label atheism to being specifically or exclusively about God with a capital G. The Romans and the Greeks had pantheons full of gods, but none of them were supreme. So they would be atheists by the literal meaning of such a narrow dictionary definition. So the definitions are very culturally and historically restricted in their application, whereas I would say that godlessness is a universal idea which will apply in any culture at any time. The other thing that I find problematic about dictionary definitions of atheist and atheism is that they focus on the existence of the god or gods. I certainly do disbelieve in the existence of some gods, but I am aware that many real things, like emperors, the sun and the moon, have been worshipped as gods. There is belief in the existence of X and belief in X as your God. And these are two completely separate questions. And I find that these definitions confuse and conflate these two meanings. If we were to insist on the existence part of the definition, then to be an atheist would require me to disbelieve in the existence of the pharaohs, or the existence of the sun or the moon. If you get too literal about sticking to dictionary definitions, things get weird fast. For example, the infamous "all babies are atheists" idea that rears its ugly head from time to time. This is a classic example of just mechanically applying a set of words to something without considering context. Sometimes humour trumps an argument, and the best retort to the "babies are atheists" trope that I ever saw was by the lovely Wise Apple. Links here and down below. Now, I've probably annoyed and confused a lot of people with my talk about real gods. I can hear you shouting, "The sun isn't a god, it's a ball of hydrogen," or "The pharaoh wasn't a god, he was just a man." Well, I know the sun is a huge ball of hot hydrogen and helium. I've studied physics at university, and I've even performed an experiment where I determined the temperature of the photosphere of the sun by measuring the width of a calcium emission line. What experiment could I perform on the sun to determine that it wasn't a god? I would confidently assert that there is no such an experiment possible. The godiness, to make up a word, the divinity of something, is not an objective quality inherent in any being. What makes a being a god is belief. I should probably do an entire video on this topic and answer the standard objections that I've come across to it. But here is the short version. What makes something a god? Belief. People have built temples to the sun. Priests have been appointed to perform rituals in its honour. They have offered prayers and sacrifice to it. They look to it in hope of a blessing, in fear of punishment or abandonment. They could be utterly sincere in their love and their devotion to it. Just like God, just like Zeus. The sun is a god in exactly the same way that Yahweh or Zeus is a god. They are not the same in terms of existence. I worship no God. I worship no great and powerful being. I look to no such being for salvation. I look to no such being in fear of its wrath. I pray to no such being. I make no sacrifices. I perform no rituals. I have nothing in my life that performs the role of God. That's true no matter what exists. It's true if there is no creator of the universe. It is true if there is a creator of the universe. Whatever exists, exists. I don't worship anything. I am godless. I am an atheist. So if pushed by dictionary-wielding thought police that tell me I can't be an atheist, that I have to accept the dictionary or abandon the label, I will abandon the label. It doesn't define me. It doesn't determine what I think. It's a useful pointer. It's a start to a conversation. Labels are not that important, but ideas are. Thank you for watching.